Welcome to the Just Nuke It podcast. This week, we're launching an apocalyptic probe into two wild tales ripped from the pages of flash fiction.
Yeah.
Forget your doom scrolling. We've got a double dose of end-of-the-world scenarios served up blockbuster style.
Buckle up.
Get ready for Remember Me and Through a Glass Darkly. Buckle up. It's going to be a ride.
It is going to be a wild one. I think we've got two very distinct flavors of apocalypse to explore today, both touching on some pretty fundamental aspects of what it means to be human.
Okay, so let's jump right in.
Let's do it.
Let's unpack this first flash fiction story, Remember Me. And, you can probably guess from the title alone.
Yeah.
But this isn't your typical zombies and disaster kind of landscape. This is eerie. This is creepy. The world has been ravaged by something called the Fade. And these creatures, they're called memory eaters. And they're just, they're stealing people's memories. They're not killing them.
Right.
They're turning them into these just empty shells. It's like a complete erasure of the self.
Right.
And that's what feels so chilling about this.
It does. Death is one thing. Right. But the idea of losing your identity, your history, everything that makes you you, that's a uniquely disturbing premise. And it taps into this deep-seated fear of oblivion in a way that, like, physical destruction just doesn't achieve.
Yeah.
So for you listening out there, I want you to consider what makes up your sense of self. Like, how much of it is tied to your memories?
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you still be you without them?
And in the middle of this nightmare is our central figure, Maya. And what's fascinating about Maya is that she's a young autistic girl.
Okay.
And she seems to be immune to these memory eaters.
Interesting.
They don't affect her.
Yeah.
The story describes her way of thinking as being in, like, these echoes and flickers of light, humming with these, like, unseen connections. And it's interesting because her teachers considered her mind disordered, which sets up this really powerful contrast because it turns out this different way of seeing the world might be what saves everyone.
That's a crucial point. You know, so often in these kinds of narratives, the people who are marginalized or seen as different, they're the first to be vulnerable. But here, that very difference becomes the source of strength, a potential shield.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it, about the value we place on, like, neurotypical ways of thinking. What if the key to solving some of our most challenging problems actually lies in embracing a wider range of cognitive styles?
Totally.
Yeah.
And these memory eaters, they just sound terrifying. They're described as having swirling tendrils of darkness, and the effect is instantaneous, like, poof, the person was gone.
Oh, my gosh.
And the adults in the story, they're just lost.
Yeah.
They're babbling about, neurology and mass hysteria.
Right.
But Maya, she sees a clear pattern.
So the adults are trying to apply these, like, scientific explanations, thinking about brain function or maybe collective psychological phenomena. But these traditional frameworks are failing to grasp this unique nature of the memory loss.
Yeah.
And Maya's, like, unfiltered perception allows her to kind of bypass the panic and just see the cause and effect,
Right.
with this directness that the adults who are all bogged down by scientific jargon just can't manage.
It's like they're overthinking it.
It really highlights how sometimes a fresh perspective, one that's, unburdened by conventional wisdom, is what's needed to see the truth.
So the million-dollar question is, why is Maya immune?
Right.
And the story hints that it could be her autism,
Okay.
acting like a helmet, which I think is a really striking image.
That is a really interesting image.
Or maybe it's just her sheer defiance, her refusal to be a victim in this insane situation. It's left open a little bit, which I think adds to the intrigue.
That ambiguity really forces you to consider different possibilities about the nature of consciousness and how it interacts with the world.
So then the army finds her.
Yeah.
Not hiding.
Right.
Not terrified. She's up on a roof, making notes.
Really?
And they immediately see her as an asset, which is pretty cold.
That is pretty cold.
But in this situation, maybe necessary.
Yeah, I guess.
She ends up in this stark bunker described as all gray and hard edges, which, I don't know, it sounds like it would be either overwhelming or perfectly calming for someone with, sensory sensitivities, depending.
That's interesting.
And her task to understand how these monsters think.
So it is cold. But in such a desperate situation, perhaps that utilitarian view is a necessary, albeit uncomfortable, aspect of survival.
Yeah.
It does raise a question, though, about how we value individuals in the face of collective catastrophe. Something for all of you out there to consider.
And this is where Dr. Ito comes in.
Yeah.
He's an older scientist,
Right.
missing an arm. And he's the first one who really sees hope in Maya. He's not treating her like she's some kind of experiment or a malfunctioning machine, which is how everyone else seems to be treating her.
Yeah,
That relationship feels really important to the story.
it does. Dr. Ito represents this crucial element of empathy and understanding in a world that's rapidly losing both of those things.
Right.
And his ability to look beyond Maya's, I guess, perceived limitations and see her potential is what allows her to truly leverage her unique perspective. The missing arm detail is interesting, too. It subtly suggests this resilience and adaptability in him that might resonate with Maya's own unconventional strengths. Have you ever noticed how often these unlikely partnerships emerge in times of crisis,
Yeah.
where individuals with seemingly disparate experiences find common ground and a shared purpose?
I think that happens a lot. So we find out that these memory eaters aren't just gobbling up memories.
Uh-oh. What are they doing?
They're actually hoarding them, forming this like swirling storm of stolen thoughts, a grotesque hive mind.
Oh, that's so gross.
And Maya can feel it.
Right.
It's this like discordant symphony in her skull.
Oh, man.
I mean, that sounds absolutely awful.
It does. It really emphasizes the psychic nature of the threat, right?
Yeah.
It's not just about physical consumption. It's about this violation of consciousness. Imagine all those stolen memories not just sitting there, but somehow interconnected,
Wow.
allowing the memory eaters to act with a collective intelligence, maybe even an instinct. It makes them so much more formidable than just being individual creatures.
Then comes Maya's breakthrough, and it's so clever. With Dr. Ito's help and using children's building blocks at all things, she models this psychic mess and realizes that the monsters are broadcasting, like some kind of like horrible mental radio signal.
The building blocks are such a brilliant touch. It takes this abstract and terrifying concept and makes it tangible, allowing Maya to like externalize and manipulate it. It's a visual representation of her unique way of processing information. It makes you think about how often we try to solve complex problems using abstract thought alone,
Yeah.
when sometimes a more tactile visual approach can unlock new insights.
And her weapon,
Yeah.
it's not some super-powered laser or anything. It's a battered old laptop and a scavenged sonic amplifier.
Cool.
There's something wonderfully resourceful about that.
Yeah.
And almost punk rock.
It's kind of punk rock.
And she instinctively knows the frequencies that will hurt them.
It reinforces this idea that the solution doesn't always come from, conventional sources. Maya's intuition, her deep connection to patterns and frequencies,
Right.
it becomes more powerful than any military technology.
Right.
It suggests that the answers to extraordinary problems might lie in the seemingly ordinary, just seen through a different lens.
The attack scene sounds intense. Maya just blasts these memory eaters with this discordant jumble of half-remembered songs, random numbers, the echoing patterns of rain on tin roofs. And it's not a clean, targeted strike. It's chaotic. It's overwhelming. But it works.
The unexpected nature of the attack is key. The memory eaters, they operate on a certain kind of mental order, and they're totally overwhelmed by this pure, unfiltered chaos.
Yeah.
It highlights how adaptability and thinking outside the box can be crucial in the face of a novel threat.
But it's not a total victory.
Okay.
They're not dead, just disrupted.
Right.
And Dr. Ito's words after are really sobering. He says, "We may have won a battle, but this is a war for more than just territory. This is a fight for who gets to own our minds." I mean, that really hits you.
It does. It broadens the scope of the conflict. It's not just about survival,
Right.
It's about the integrity of thought,
Right.
the ownership of your own personal experience.
It's like a whole other level.
Right.
And Maya's response is fantastic. This girl, who is seen as a liability, declares, "Let's teach the monsters what happens when they mess with the wrong minds." Talk about a transformation.
Her arc is so powerful. From being misunderstood, underestimated,
Yeah.
she rises to become this defiant protector of human consciousness.
I love it.
Her unique perspective, initially seen as a deficit, becomes her greatest asset. It offers such a powerful message about valuing neurodiversity. So for all of you listening out there, when you encounter someone with a seemingly unconventional approach to a problem, just remember Maya. Her disordered thinking, that was the key. And it might just prompt you to reconsider your own assumptions about what constitutes a valuable perspective in a challenging situation.
Okay, so that was Remember Me. Now, our next apocalyptic probe takes us to a completely different but equally unsettling end-of-the-world scenario.
No.
In our second flash fiction story, Through a Glass Darkly.
Okay, so we move from the theft of inner selves to a disruption of our perception of the external world, specifically through the loss of reflections.
Right.
So in Remember Me, the apocalypse targets our inner world, our very identities. But now, Through a Glass Darkly, it explores an equally unsettling disruption. This time to our perception of the external world, something we rely on just as fundamentally.
I mean, the premise is wild. Suddenly, mirrors, any reflective surfaces, they just stop working.
Wow.
And people lose their reflections. And as you can imagine, it leads to absolute chaos,
Oh, yeah.
widespread panic, bizarre reactions.
I can see it now.
It's such a strange thing to take away, something we probably all take completely for granted.
It is. The absence of a reflection, I think, strikes at a very primal level of self-recognition. For centuries, reflections have been tied to notions of the soul, to identity, and even to vanity. To suddenly lose that visual confirmation of your own existence, it's profoundly disorienting.
Yeah.
And can understandably trigger some really deep-seated anxieties.
And in the middle of all of this is Micah, our protagonist. He's described as this, like, lonely teenager with a scientific mind.
Okay.
And initially, he's seen as a freak because he notices the issue before it even becomes widespread. He's struggling with his stupid mirror because it's showing only smudged distortion.
So Micah's early awareness of the anomaly positions him as an outsider, but also as someone who's attuned to inconsistencies that other people just overlook. His scientific curiosity overrides that initial panic, which sets him apart from the general hysteria.
Right.
This highlights how different cognitive styles react to crisis.
Right.
And it makes you wonder if those who are comfortable with being different are maybe better equipped to handle truly unprecedented events.
So things escalate globally.
Right.
And we get these news reports of suicides, riots, religious fervor.
Wow.
All stemming from this lack of reflections. It's amazing how something seemingly superficial can unravel society so quickly.
It speaks to the fragility of our shared reality.
Yeah.
And how much we rely on these seemingly minor sensory inputs to confirm our place in it. The loss of reflections becomes a catalyst for existential dread, triggering a search for meaning and blame, which manifests in these extreme reactions.
Oh.
It shows how easily our collective sense of normalcy can just be shattered when something fundamental to our experience is altered.
But Micah, instead of freaking out, sees a puzzle.
Okay.
And he uses his stubbornness and this online research, and he's sifting through all the crazy theories to try to find a scientific explanation. He's actively trying to understand, which is, I think, a refreshing approach in the face of the bizarre.
It is. His methodical approach is a testament to the power of rational inquiry in the face of the irrational. Micah's reaction, it reminds us that in the face of the unexpected, our first instinct might be to panic, but cultivating a mindset of curiosity, of seeing a puzzle rather than a threat, that can be incredibly empowering and can even lead to unexpected solutions in your own life, whether it's just a technological glitch or even, a really complex personal challenge.
And his key observation comes from this dismissed astronomer's rant. There's something about an anomaly in light refraction and a subtle doubling of the spectrum. And it suggests that the mirrors aren't broken. They're actually acting as windows. That's a huge leap.
It is. It's a brilliant twist. The idea that what we thought was a surface, reflecting our own image, is actually a portal to something else entirely. It just flips our understanding of reality.
For sure.
This hints at a change in how light itself is behaving, suggesting a fundamental shift in, the laws of physics as we understand them. And this was initially dismissed, remember, as the ramblings of someone on the fringe.
Right.
It really highlights how crucial fringe ideas can sometimes be in unlocking major discoveries, especially when conventional explanations fail.
So we get a glimpse into Micah's home lab, this room filled with all sorts of hacked together equipment, webcams, prisms.
So cool.
He's really going all in on trying to figure this out.
His resourcefulness and ingenuity, it underscores his dedication to solving this puzzle. He's not waiting for official answers. He's actively experimenting and using whatever tools he has at his disposal, embodying this DIY approach to scientific discovery. And it makes you think about the power of individual initiative when, established systems failed to provide answers.
And then he makes this incredible discovery.
What's that?
He doesn't see his own reflection, but he sees that of a teenage girl.
Oh, wow.
Anya. And a room that's like a mirror image of his own.
Okay.
but like subtly different. And the story emphasizes that this isn't a ghost. This is someone real in another world.
This is the crux of the story. The merging of two realities through what we once perceived as simple reflections. It's a terrifying and exhilarating concept, the sudden realization that we are not alone and that another version of reality exists just beyond our own familiar one. It forces us to question the nature of our own reality and what other unseen worlds might exist alongside ours.
And their initial communication is so human, just like awkward typed messages against the glass. It takes time, but eventually they have a breakthrough with webcam feeds. It's this very personal, almost innocent connection in the midst of this like global pandemonium.
Their connection offers a glimmer of hope amidst the chaos. It shifts the focus from, fear of the unknown to the possibility of connection and understanding across these newly blurred boundaries. It highlights the human need for communication and the power of a shared experience, even with someone from another reality. Have you ever tried to communicate with someone across a language barrier?
Oh, yeah.
That initial awkwardness and the eventual breakthrough, it can feel surprisingly profound.
Oh, for sure.
It really can.
But of course, the scientists want to weaponize this discovery. They see the other world as a potential enemy.
Of course they do.
Meanwhile, Micah and Anya have a different plan to share information.
This is such a classic conflict in science fiction, that tension between the desire to understand and the urge to just control and exploit. Micah and Anya's approach, prioritizing knowledge and connection over aggression, it offers a more optimistic, though perhaps a bit naive, perspective. It raises questions about humanity's, default response to the unknown. Is it fear and aggression? Or is it curiosity and collaboration?
And their defiant act is broadcasting instructions on like these hack feeds, showing people how to build these like crude viewers or a goal. Mutually assured weirdness.
I love that.
The realization that their neighbors aren't quite human, but not exactly alien either. I love that phrase.
Mutually assured weirdness perfectly captures that shift in perspective. By enabling everyone to see the other world,
Yeah.
they aim to normalize the bizarre, to foster a sense of shared experience, and hopefully, diffuse the fear and hostility that often comes from encountering the unknown.
The ending is this mix of ongoing chaos and like this budding curiosity. The violence hasn't stopped, but there are these moments of stillness as people start looking through mirrors with a combination of terror and like this genuine curiosity. It's a really nuanced picture of how humanity might react to something this fundamentally strange.
It is. It avoids this, simplistic resolution.
Right.
The initial shock gives way to a more complex reaction, where fear and violence coexist with this growing sense of wonder and a desire to really comprehend this new reality. It suggests that even in the face of the extraordinary, human nature just remains multifaceted. Think about the major technological shifts in our own history.
Yeah.
They often bring both excitement and anxiety.
And,
Yeah.
and the story concludes with Micah seeing his warped reflection in a water barrel and feeling this strange hope. His silent message to Anya and to the world is simply, let's figure this out.
It's so simple, but so powerful.
It's not a grand declaration, but it feels really powerful in its quiet determination.
It's a return to his initial stance. The puzzle solver, the curious mind, seeking understanding. Despite the global upheaval, his focus remains on learning and adapting, and it offers a message of resilience and the enduring power of human intellect.
So what do you make of these apocalyptic probes? Two very different end-of-the-world scenarios. I mean, in Remember Me, the very essence of who we are, our memories, is under attack. In Through a Glass Darkly, the familiar reality we take for granted literally cracks open to reveal something unexpected.
They both do a great job of exploring the fragility of our perceived reality and the fundamental elements that define our humanity, our memories, our sense of self, and our understanding of the world around us.
Consider Maya's journey. This young person who was deemed different becomes humanity's unlikely savior by embracing her unique perspective.
I love that.
What does that tell us about how we value different ways of thinking?
It really underscores the importance of inclusivity and recognizing the potential strengths that could arise from neurodiversity. What is considered a deficit in one context can become a crucial asset in another, especially when facing these unprecedented challenges.
And Micah's experience. Facing a bizarre phenomenon not with fear, but with scientific curiosity.
He's a hero.
How often do we default to panic instead of trying to understand the seemingly unexplainable?
I know I do. It's a reminder of the power of rational inquiry and the importance of maintaining a sense of curiosity, even in the face of the extraordinary.
For sure. Both stories highlight this fight for something fundamental, the ownership of our minds and the nature of our reality.
That's a big one.
What resonates most with you from these tales?
For me, it's the resilience of the human spirit in the face of the unimaginable. Whether it's Maya's defiance against these memory eaters or Micah's persistent curiosity about this reflectionless world, both stories showcase our capacity to adapt, to fight, and to seek understanding even when everything we thought we knew has just been completely upended.
We'd love to hear your thoughts. What would be your strategy in either of these apocalyptic scenarios? What questions did these stories spark for you?
Yeah. What would you do? Would you try to shield your mind?
Right.
Or would you try to understand the invaders? Would you embrace the strangeness of the mirror world? Or would you fight to restore what's familiar?
This has been an apocalyptic probe from the Just Nuke podcast. Tune in next week for more wild tales from the edge of oblivion. Rate and follow for more captivating stories.
See you next week.